Good evening, everybody. This is Mellissa Thomas of Florida National News coming to you with your evening news rundown for your Wednesday, May 13th, 2020. This year is flying. May just started and we're already on the 13th, but hopefully you guys are having a great day so far. And I'm here to help you guys wind on down, especially if you've been running all day and haven't had your access to the news yet. So thank you for tuning in. First, I want to open up with our audience question because this is going to become very important given the news that I'm going to share with you guys today. But what are your thoughts on the reopening of the country? What are you focused on more? Are you focused on the health and safety side of it more, or are you more in the hurry to get back into the economy, kind of restart the economy, get money flowing again, start to re-earn money again as an employee or as an entrepreneur? Leave your comment below. You'll find out why once we start to share some of the stories here. But jumping into our COVID-19 news, you guys know we love to keep you guys updated on where we are globally, nationally, and here in our state. So jumping over to our global numbers, according to the World Health Organization, we are at 4.18 million confirmed cases in the world right now. And we are at 287,000 plus confirmed deaths. So of course, as the world reopens, we're going to see some numbers shift as a result of that. So continue to keep your eyes peeled where that's concerned. Here in the United States, we are looking at 1.36 million plus confirmed cases and over 82,000. Hold on a second. Over 82,000 confirmed deaths. I wanted to make sure that was right, guys. So that is courtesy of the CDC. And here in the state of Florida, according to the Florida Department of Health, we are at over 42,000 confirmed cases and over 1,800 confirmed deaths here in the state of Florida. Now, jumping over to our world story, of course, this ties directly into where we are with COVID-19. Wuhan, China is now requiring all of its residents to get tested for COVID-19. Now, Wuhan is a city that has over 11 million people living in its city, and it's requiring all of them to get tested for COVID-19. Now, they had been in a lockdown. They saw a reduction in numbers, of course, as a result of the social distancing, making sure nobody was interacting. However, they were starting to see some cases over this past weekend. As of right now, they've got 6 new confirmed cases. They had reopened on April 8th. So they reopened their schools, they reopened public transportation, and their businesses reopened as well. So in the interim, while they're preparing to test 11 million people, their health officials and authorities in the Wuhan area kind of questioning whether or not this is possible to be able to test that many people. But in the interim, they'll be doing monitoring, they'll monitor the outbreaks and asymptomatic cases until they have a testing plan in place. So that is where we are as it relates to world stories, particularly where COVID-19 is concerned. Coming back over to our side of things, here in the US, something else is getting affected by COVID-19 or pushed back as a result of COVID-19. But the nation's largest university system has chosen not to have as many in-person courses for fall. The California State University system is choosing for most of its courses to be online, and it is the first university system in the nation to do so. We are talking about a system that has 23 universities and over 500,000 students. So that's a lot of students going virtual in the fall. The only exception for them are essential labs and clinical nursing classes for those who need to go in and do practical coursework with clinical nursing. But for those who do have the chance to go in physically, it will be a social distancing kind of a thing, 6 feet apart, and limited attendance to reduce the risk of another outbreak or, dealing with anyone who's asymptomatic and possibly spreading the disease. And that's precisely what the CSU Chancellor Tim White said. He made the decision to do this for the fall because he wanted to make that effort to slow the spread of COVID-19 there. Now, while the CSU system is choosing to do that, there are about 300 other colleges and universities around the country that are choosing to reopen for fall semester. Now, given what we reported recently about the NCAA sports, you could pretty much guess that any of the colleges, any of the universities in the CSU system, those guys won't be doing sports because, as we heard from the NCAA president, if the students are not on campus, the sports are not happening over there. But we'll continue to keep you guys posted where that's concerned. All right, jumping into our Florida stories. This one is a more positive thing. So here in the state of Florida, there have been a lot of recognition for medical workers, healthcare workers here. And today, one of the big stories for just today, there was a flyover over ORMC. So the staff there were able to kind of witness that flyover. Some even posted on Facebook and went outside in anticipation of the flyover. Some took pictures. But of course, you heard us report about that for other states. It happened in New York, and you heard us talk about it last week happening in Jacksonville and the Metro Miami area. So much love to the health workers here in the Central Florida area for their continued sacrifice. Thank you so much for all that you guys do. But there are two events coming up tomorrow that will continue to show that love. The first one will actually be happening in the Osceola County area. It will be happening at the Osceola Regional Medical Center in Kissimmee from 12 p.m. to 2, courtesy of Keller Williams. They're doing their Red Day, which is actually a global thing for the Keller Williams Realty Company or group. All of the different branches across the world will be doing service activities. But here locally, there's one group called Make a Move Group. They'll be doing a delivery, if you will, for the staff that are at the Osceola Regional Medical Center. They'll be delivering lunch to them, and of course, driving around in the parking lot and showing love to the staff that are working there. Now, if you want to be a part of that, you can obviously go ahead and use the Cash App, as these guys have made clear in their flyers across their social media marketing. You can see in the banner below where you need to go ahead and use the Cash App to lend your support. Or of course, if you want to be part of that drive around to show love, be sure to head on over to the Osceola Regional Medical Center around noon to be a part of that caravan. Now, another team up that will be happening where that's concerned is the Masjid Al-Hai, which is a mosque located in Sanford. They're teaming up with Advent Health Altamonte to show some love to the medical staff at the Advent Health Altamonte facility. So with these guys, if you want to be involved with that, and this one is not only to offer the staff a treat, but also this one is actually an interfaith event, because this is happening, of course, during the month of Ramadan, which is a sacred month for those who practice Islam. And this is an interfaith event with Advent Health being, of course, a Seventh-day Adventist organization. But the two have come together because they wanted to share a prayer over the workers and offer a blessing. So not only will the staff there be able to get a treat, courtesy of Jeremiah's Italian Ice, which the mosque will be delivering to the workers, but there will be an actual full-on program. This will be taking place from 4:30 p.m. to 6 p.m. tomorrow evening. But there will be a full program where verses from the Quran will be read, and there will be Christian prayer offered to the staff there. And the CEO of Advent Health Altamonte, Tim Cook, not to be confused with Apple's Tim Cook, he'll be delivering a keynote there. So if you want to be a part of that, of course, the number on your screen, be sure to give that number a call and RSVP. So congrats to all those in the Orlando area that are showing love to the medical workers here as they continue to risk their lives while keeping us safe and medically treated during this COVID-19 pandemic. Now, guys, thank you for tuning in. I'm going to jump to a quick commercial break and come right back with more of your news.
At Duke Energy, we deliver electricity and so much more, like free home energy assessments, rebates for energy-saving improvements, payment options to help you better manage your budget, and even bill credits for helping the community use less energy. So no matter what you're doing, we can help you make better energy choices every day. It's just another way we bring power to your life. How much can you save?
Welcome back, guys. Thanks for continuing to tune in to the evening news rundown. Now I'm going to jump into some business news for you guys. You likely heard today the Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell made a pretty bleak forecast for the U.S. economy. He's urging the White House and the Congress to do more further action to help the U.S. economy, or else we will have a more prolonged recession. That was his main warning today. He mentioned in a briefing that the Federal Reserve will use the utmost of their resources to help the economy, but he did make sure to admonish that the Federal Reserve has lending power, but Congress and the White House, they have the ability to do a little bit more than that to help the economy. So here's a quick clip from his press briefing, courtesy of the Associated Press. Check this out.
But the coronavirus crisis raises longer-term concerns as well. The record shows that deeper and longer recessions can leave behind lasting damage to the productive capacity of the economy. Avoidable household and business insolvencies can weigh on growth for years to come. Long stretches of unemployment can damage or end workers' careers as their skills lose value and professional networks dry up, and leave families in greater debt. The loss of thousands of small and medium-sized businesses across the country would destroy the life's work and family legacy of many businesses and community leaders. A prolonged recession and weak recovery could also discourage business investment and expansion, further limiting the resurgence of jobs as well as the growth of the capital stock and the pace of technological advancement. The result could be an extended period of low productivity growth and stagnant incomes. We ought to do what we can to avoid these outcomes, and that may require additional policy measures. At the Fed, we will continue to use our tools to their fullest until the crisis has passed and the economic recovery is well underway. Recall, though, that the Fed has lending powers, not spending powers. A loan from a Fed facility can provide a bridge across temporary interruptions to liquidity, and those loans will help many borrowers get through the current crisis. But the recovery may take some time to gather momentum, and the passage of time can turn liquidity problems into solvency problems. Additional fiscal support could be costly, but worth it if it helps avoid long-term damage and leaves us with a stronger recovery. This trade-off is one for our elected representatives who wield powers of taxation and spending.
Now, one of the things that he mentioned during the press briefing was that even though the president and several others have been pressing the Federal Reserve to go into the negative with their interest rates, that is something that Chairman Powell said the Federal Reserve is not looking at that as an option, because he says that it will cause more harm to the banks if they choose to go that route. While other countries are doing it, he mentioned that here in the US, given our economy, that's something that would be harmful to the banks if they went through with. But stay tuned right here as we continue to give you guys the updates as we get them as well. And this news story is why we wanted to direct you guys to that audience question. So please, once again, leave your thoughts below about that. Are you more so a little more hesitant to rejoin the workforce, to head back out for health and safety reasons? Or are you ready to, pretty much rearing to go now, especially now that Florida's reopening, our nation is reopening, most states are in phase 1, and you're just ready for the economy to open for the sake of livelihood and basically getting as close to normal as possible? Leave a comment below, let us know. All right, and a little bit more of business news for you guys. The restaurant chain Steak and Shake is unfortunately closing more of its locations. This restaurant has been suffering since before the pandemic, but now they have had to close even more locations. They closed 57 as a result of the COVID-19 pandemic. They've been down since 2019. Originally in 2019, they had closed some and they were down to about 368 locations. As of March 31st of 2020, they're down to 306. So after closing their lobbies on March 17th, they've only been doing delivery and takeout. But these guys have had a massive loss in the first quarter. Their parent company reported a $7.9 million loss as of the first quarter of 2020. So if you're a Steak and Shake fan, just kind of keep your eyes open and make sure to get as much as you can before they all disappear. Hopefully they won't. But that's your update where that is concerned in the business news. Jumping over to your sports, you've heard Casey talk about Arizona, particularly as it related to Major League Baseball. However, the governor there is gung-ho. He wants all sports to start back up again. So Governor Ducey there is saying, NBA, Major League Baseball, NHL, I welcome you. You can come on back, guys. He's welcoming the hockey league, baseball, Major League Soccer. He's saying the state is open and welcome for all of the leagues to not only play their games there, but operate there, meaning any training that needs to happen. He's ready to welcome them as soon as this coming Saturday, as in May 16th. He is pretty much prepared and open. And very recently, shortly before our broadcast began, Governor Ron DeSantis announced the same thing for Florida. You'll hear a little bit more about this particular story when Casey does her show at 8 p.m. tonight. So stay tuned for our FNN Sports Take. All right, guys. Now, before I jump into your entertainment news, I'm going to take one more quick commercial break. Stay tuned.
We wanted to move back home to be closer to his family. We decided to go with pods because things were stressful enough.
We weren't sure how long we were going to need storage for, so we needed something that was flexible, and then they can deliver the container to wherever we move to.
We haven't found the perfect house yet, but we're still looking.
All right, guys, thank you for sticking around. And here is your bit of entertainment news today and another good news story for you. But Tina Fey hosted a telethon on Monday called Rise Up New York. And the good news there is within the hour, they were able to raise $115 million. She very tearfully thanked everyone who was involved in the initiative, which was a joint effort between Robin Hood, which is a poverty fighting organization that's New York based, and they teamed up with iHeartMedia to run the telethon. And it had a lot of A-list support from folks like Michael Strahan, Barbara Streisand, even J-Lo as well. And Robert De Niro, who of course is up there because his Tribeca Film Festival typically takes place up there. I'll leave you guys with this touching quote from Robert De Niro in light of the victory that these guys were able to have with the funds that were being raised. So here's what he had to say about it. He says, "Our city is under attack, but we've been here before. In the last 20 years, both 9/11 and Hurricane Sandy. You can take your best shot, but you cannot break our spirit," which are words that are well said. The funding that was raised on Monday will be used towards cash assistance, food, shelter, legal assistance, and mental health services as well. So best of luck to those in New York City who were able to benefit from the funding. And you guys know we'll continue to bring you these stories. There are plenty of celebrities and athletes doing great things in their respective communities to combat COVID-19. And that does it for us here at the Evening News Rundown, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. And as always, be sure, if you haven't yet, to like our page on Facebook. We are at Florida National News, at FNN News TV, and FNN News Live. And on YouTube, be sure to subscribe and click the little bell to get all the notifications. You can find us there at Florida National News. We like to keep it simple. But thank you guys so much for tuning in today. Have a great rest of your day, and make sure to tune in tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern when Casey returns with the FNN Sports Take. You guys have a great night. Thanks so much for tuning in.